First of all, what is your name? Where are you from?
My name is Lilian. I live in Harlem.
Yes.
I'm from France.
You're from France. Okay. Okay, comment ça va?
Ça va bien? That's it.
That's it. Okay, go ahead.
I'm Paul. I live in the Upper West Side. I'm from here, but my mom is also French.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on America and New York in general?
Well, New York specifically, I
Yes.
love living here.
Uh-huh.
On America,
Yes.
generally,
Yeah, generally.
I mean, I think there's a
Well,
lot.
first of all, what did you think when you first got here?
When I first got here, I was 7 years old.
Okay. Your first impressions?
So everything about it was just, I was just learning. First off, I didn't really speak English very much.
Right.
So first I had to learn the language,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of navigation.
Yeah.
But now, I have a lot of perspective. I'm in college.
Come
And
on
yeah,
a
I
bit
think
closer.
there's
Come on a bit closer.
a lot of things that could change in the country.
Okay. So how were you received when you first came here?
When I first came here, it was a mixed bag of people who accepted me because I was from somewhere else, and people who rejected me specifically for that reason as well. So yeah, there was a lot of name calling, I think, and that's what happens with children in an environment where they're not educated on everything that happens around them.
Did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I was born here. I grew up here.
Yeah.
I really started to love it. I had more independence.
Yeah.
Go around, do my own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, America as a whole, as you said, there's a ton of stuff that needs to change.
Yeah. So things need to change. So what do you think about Obama when you talked about change? Did he disappoint you?
A little bit. I think that the way the system is set up, it's hard for any one president to be a really good president.
Yeah.
It's all the red tape,
Right.
different decisions they gotta make.
Right.
Relatively, I think Obama was good. There's obviously a ton of problems with road strikes, that sort of thing to do over and up. Compared to Trump,
It's night and day. Miles better.
So what do you miss most about France?
About France, I mean, there's not a lot that I necessarily remember, but things that I aspire to have are things like universal health care.
Right.
I think that's one thing that's lacking, and that really improves quality of life for everyone. And just the government, investing more in the lives of ordinary people. And in trying to, better the population as a whole, rather than trying to enforce a top-down agenda.
So now you guys sound very aware. So how did you get to be so aware at such a young age? Because when I was young, I was thinking about eating curly fries. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about healthcare or anything like that until much later in life, because I thought, because when you're young, you're healthy, right? You don't have diseases or anything, or you don't have a bad back, you don't have ulcers or anything like that. So it's very difficult for a young person to come to that realization. Were your parents instrumental in influencing you to think a certain way?
I think my parents didn't allow me to have the freedom to create my own beliefs. We went to I think a very progressive high school. And we were very fortunate to have that experience, to be exposed to a lot of different people there. And I think that it's as we grew older, we realized that we're in a world where every single person can make a difference if they can act in the ways that if they're educated about the ways they can contribute. And the thing that's lacking is that for a long time, kids our age don't know how to get involved. They don't know how to get involved in both the legal process and also as a citizen. And there's a lot of ways that everyone can get involved if things need to change. And so I think it's our duty as young people to be involved in that, because we are the next voters. And I just turned 18 this year, so it's a big step to go from being someone who hasn't been involved to being literally one of the numbers that can make a difference.
So now you yourselves are very aware and woke, but would you say the same about your social circle as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think generally the people that I know are mostly from the same high school.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Yeah, sorry. Most of the people that I know are from the same high school. And as you said, it's really progressive high school. A lot of people talk about social justice on social media and that sort of thing, and it really spreads. I think people are pretty aware of what's going on because they're so close to it.
So it sounds like your education had a lot to do with the way you were raised, because when I went to school, it was about falling asleep in class. It was about playing hooky. It was about copying somebody else's homework 15 minutes before you're supposed to turn it in. It's about cheating. I mean, that's the way. That's the way. I don't know. That's the way it was for me. So
It could be both.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of that going on.
right.
But it's also just the attitude.
Yeah. So now we are living in a city filled with strangers. All right. There's a lot of people here who live next door to somebody for 5 years. They don't know who they are.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? I mean, about just sort of like how people are so distant from each other.
I think that, I mean, when you put it that way, it seems like people are very distant.
Yeah.
But I think that everyone makes it, their own situation, and
Yeah.
people branch out in their own ways.
Yeah.
And I find beauty in being in a city
Yeah.
where 99% of the people I will never come into contact
Right.
with, and
Yeah.
I will never even know of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just a blip on their radar, and
Yeah.
it shows us that,
Yeah.
individual people necessarily
Yeah.
are all just part of something bigger.
Yeah.
And something like New York is a beautiful living organism,
Right.
filled with so many people here, and there's,
Yeah.
I don't know, I think that there's something really important to that, and being a part of it.
Do y'all have any advice or suggestions for surviving New York? You go on the internet and you see a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to live in New York. New York seems like a cool place to go to." But once you get here, that's a whole other story. Some people they can't last a day, they can't last a week. They go back to their hometowns and they got it.
I gotta
What
keep the
advice-
meeting real quick. Sorry, man. Keep talking. last question.
Okay. Yes. What advice do you have for people who want to survive in New York and to live sort of like fruitfully, to be connected with other people, to be happy, to not get depressed, especially in times of uncertainty right now?
I mean, I think in a city like this, you can come with any expectation you have, but at the end it just boils down to having empathy for the people around you.
Yeah.
While everyone around you lives different lives, we're all
Yeah.
people, and we're all going through it together.
Yeah.
So just be kind and have empathy.
Yeah. So you just do your own thing, and people will automatically come to you.
Well, just be respectful of everyone else's boundaries.
Right.
And,
Right.
people will naturally be attracted to anything that you do that is positive in the world.
Absolutely. Now, do you all have YouTube channels or any kind of social media that has a following?
Nah, I mean, all about you, the internet stuff right now.
Now, being the young people that you are, what advice do you have for people who are starting social media or YouTube channels? I mean, what kind of things draws you in as an internet user?
Last question.
I don't have an answer.
Last question.
Last question?
Yeah.
Okay.
My meter's up.
He's got his meter for his car. Okay, so last question. No, actually, do you want to give a shout out to anybody? No shout outs.
I'll give a shout out to Hannah Ray Gilbert, Love My Life. I love the baby. She's in Florida right now.
Okay, now do you have any social media that you want to plug?
Nah.
No Instagram, no Facebook, no nothing?
Nah.
Okay. All right, thank you for your content, and we appreciate your point of view and your perspective.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right. Nice to see you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, what's the channel called? How do we find this?
Wait, let me write down my email.